Hi, I'm Greg ZELEK. I'm the principal organist of the Madison Symphony Orchestra and the curator of the Overture Concert Organ here at Overture Hall. I'm also the organ curator of the Jacksonville Symphony Orchestra, and I was just appointed the Northrop organist and start that position in August.
So, what started your career as a musician and in the organ?
Yeah, so we had a rule in my house. I have two older sisters and a younger brother, and the rule was basically that you could pick a hobby, and whatever hobby you chose, you had to do until the end of high school. And both my sisters chose the piano foolishly. They were not musically gifted whatsoever. They're very talented women, but not at the piano. And I remember they would be taking lessons, and then I would sort of hear their lessons, then play what they were practicing by ear, which I think annoyed the heck out of both of them. But my grandfather on my mother's side, who's Cuban, I think also very much had the musical gene and had a very musical ear. And he could just tell that this was something I was sort of destined to do, or at least designed to focus on. And so I started taking piano lessons when I was around 7. And then we went to a Catholic middle school where they built a brand new space and put in this instrument. And I started taking piano lessons with the organist there, who then told me, you really should switch over to organ because you can start making money on Sundays playing church gigs. So that was kind of what I did to pay for all of my dates with my high school girlfriend. And then went to Juilliard, did my undergrad, my master's, and my artist diploma there. And in my first year of my artist diploma, I got this position in Madison, Wisconsin. So it's been quite an adventure, from playing my sister's piano music when I was 7 to now being in Madison, Wisconsin with my own family, however many years later.
What made you want to cross over to a curator role? Because that's interesting that you do both.
I just got super lucky. I played a concert in Florida at Coral Ridge Presbyterian Church, which is well known to sort of the organ community because Diane Bish was there for a very long time. And there's someone who winters in Madison, Wisconsin. So they winter in Florida, but they're from Madison, Wisconsin, heard me play and mentioned to the previous curator that he should have me on the series. And I came and played. And then he said, basically, if I retire, would you consider taking on this role? And I knew right away this was like an unbelievable opportunity because it kind of aligned with everything that I am, both in my personality and my love for kind of socializing, talking from the stage, interacting with folks, raising money for the instrument, raising money for the program. I'm obviously not the director of development, but I think you find a lot of support from people when you're very enthusiastic about what you do.
So you're a pretty young musician yourself. What do you think is kind of the key to keeping young people interested in music as a career and even the organ?
I mean, I think there are two things that sort of have to happen simultaneously. One, there's got to be a level of artistic excellence that you bring every time you perform, but it's not just the excellence that you perform with, but also the manner in which you showcase that excellence, like both physically at the console and at the instrument, and then also how you engage with the audience, because you can be like an extremely talented and prodigious talent, but if watching you play is very boring, it's just going to be tough to sell. It's like that's the market we live in. Like, we don't want to hear this, and people love the idea of that, music will shine through regardless. But the reality is, of course it does. And there are, of course, people that are very moved by that. But when you're talking about general audiences that have no exposure to either classical music or the organ, there's got to be more there to keep them engaged. I think Raul Preto Ramirez is a perfect example of that. He's a very physically engaging performer. He plays a lot from memory. I think those kinds of things I try to incorporate in what I do as well, because I think it's a part of having success in this field. And then I also think in the short time you have with an audience, giving them the opportunity to get to know a little bit about you personally, not in terms of your biography, but like just in terms of the comfort with which you speak to the audience, has such an impact on how much they then appreciate when you turn around and play. But I think it's also an inspiring thing for young artists who maybe don't even play the organ, but are musicians, to see someone playing in front of a large crowd and having sort of command both at the instrument, but also a comfort level of speaking and engaging with the audience. I think is key to having young musicians want to stick with it and see that there's that opportunity potentially in their future.
Can you tell me a little bit about what you'll be performing on Monday? Any like stories behind it, reasons why you chose the program?
There are a couple pieces in there that are somewhat interesting, at least personally to me. I'm playing a couple works by Ernesto Lecona, who's the most famous Cuban composer. I've arranged a lot of he wrote for the piano, and I've arranged a lot of his pieces for the organ, but also for organ and like a Latin band. We played an organ concert to open this past organ season in Madison with a Cuban band from Miami of people that I knew from home. So I'm playing a couple pieces of his. I'm playing this variations on the Star Spangled Banner just because everyone knows the tune, and I don't know. I feel like San Diego is just a good place to perform it. And yeah, I laugh about it because I was practicing it to learn it for the last concert of this organ season, and I joked that it was like the last 3 months that my daughter was in my wife's womb. She just heard the Star Spangled Banner repeatedly, and like it's the only time I've ever played the Star Spangled Banner. But she came out saluting. No, I'm just kidding. And what else? I'm also playing a fugue of Bach that's very exciting to watch with a pedal solo at the end. I feel like with this audience too, what I love about playing at Spreckels, I've played there once before, is it's a very general audience. So you get like a wide range of people. It's not just like the organ fanatics. It's actually just a lot of families and stuff. So I like to just sort of throw in music that's people maybe recognize without necessarily knowing it by title, but that's like pretty easy listening, but also thrilling at that particular venue, that uses the instrument well, because the instrument has so many of these different sounds. My wife loves when I use like different percussive sounds on the instrument. She's always telling me like, you need to do more of that. And it's always very degrading to me that she says that, because I assume it means that she's bored by my playing. But yeah, so I'm playing a couple pieces and arrangements that will utilize the instrument well. The other thing I remember is when planes fly over, all of like the soft stuff gets lost. Like you just don't hear it. I remember playing Claire de Lune, and I was like, do I just hold this chord for like 3 minutes? Because like I don't hear anything. Certainly they can't hear it out there. So I'm playing music that even when soft and romantic can be played a bit loudly, so that I don't have to just completely pause what I'm doing. Yeah, I just put together a program of music that I think is sort of eclectic, but that a general audience is going to recognize probably something of it and enjoy. I'm hoping most of it. You know, I think they're gonna enjoy listening to it. It'll utilize again the instrument and its capabilities really well, and yeah, I'm excited to get the chance again to play there.